Hi everyone, this is Mike from Mike Talks English. Do you sometimes find it difficult to understand natural spoken English? That's because spoken language can be very different from written language. In this video, I'm going to analyze the pronunciation of a North American speaker, Tim Urban, so you can improve your listening skills and your pronunciation. Let's begin with the analysis.
So in college, I was a government major, which means I had to write a lot of papers. So in college, I was a government major, which means I had to write a lot of papers.
So the first thing I hear is that these two are linked. So we've got soen, soen. And so is pronounced like this with the diphthong o, soen. And he's reducing the in to un, soen, because it's not an important syllable. So in college, and then in the North American accent, it's pronounced with an R sound and a schwa for the second syllable. So we've got college.
College.
In the British accent and the Australian accent, it's an O sound, so that's college. But in his accent, college. I can also hear the strongest syllable is so in college.
So in college.
So we've got a very strong movement in both volume and pitch. So in college.
So in college.
In the next sentence, I can hear linking with I was a. And the weak pronunciation of was is used. So it's not was, it's was. I was a government major. Okay, now the R is pronounced strongly, which is typical for American accents. In British and Australian accents, we only pronounce the R if it's before a vowel. So it would be government. But in the North American accent, it's government.
Government.
You can release or not release the T. So that means the tongue is in position to pronounce the T, government or government. And you just don't release the T, and he doesn't release it.
Government.
I can't hear the N because the lips are closing in preparation for the M. I was a government major, and major is pronounced with the A diphthong. Major. So in his North American English, he pronounces the R. So in British and Australian English, it's major, but in North American English, it's major. Major. Okay? I was a government major. The strongest syllable is ga, and then a little stress here. So we've got I was a government major.
I was a government major.
Which means I had to write a lot of papers.
Which means I had to write a lot of papers.
He's not really pronouncing the I, it's just an sound. So we've got which, and then means I. These are linked together. And we've got means I. Notice that the S is pronounced as a voiced Z, not the unvoiced S, because the N, which is before it, is voiced as well. If you say N and hold your hand to your throat, you will feel vibration. So that means it's voiced. So N, so means I. Okay, now had is the A sound. So it's not an A sound, not had, but had. So the mouth is quite open, the tongue is flat and quite spread. Ah. Okay, and the D is not released, so had to. It's pronouncing it like this, and he's already rounding the lips in preparation for the R. Now to pronounce the R, you need to round your lips, hold your tongue in a U shape, and raise it at the back a little bit. Had to write a lot of papers. The T is pronounced as a flap D. Had to write, so these are linked like that. Had to write. And then lot, so the American pronunciation is with an R sound. In British English, it would be lot. The T is pronounced as a flapped D. Lot of. Write a lot of. Which means I had to write a lot of. And then we've got papers over here. In my Australian and in British accents, the R is not pronounced, so it would be papers. But in North American accents, it's papers. So which is the strongest syllable? Papers, definitely. Everything moves towards that, which means I had to write a lot of papers.
Which means I had to write a lot of papers.
So we've got so in college, I was a government major, which means I had to write a lot of papers.
So in college, I was a government major, which means I had to write a lot of papers.
Okay guys, I hope you liked it. That was actually my first ever video on YouTube, so if you liked this analysis, please give me a thumbs up and write me a comment and let me know what you thought. See you later.